have not really failed a lot in my life, and it's not because I'm perfect or some brilliant genius. I think it's because I realized I'm not dreaming big enough. For most of my life, I've just taken the next right step. I went to college, I majored in business and tech, I got a stable job, just followed the path that made sense on paper. But it's really only been in the last 2 years or so where I've decided to shake things up a bit and take some actual risks. And not surprisingly, my life has changed more in the last 2 years than it has in my whole entire life. But what I'm struggling with is that so much success happens so quickly that now I'm dealing with a whole new problem, which is not being scared to fail, but being scared to lose it all. If you're new here, my name is JC, and we are 5 weeks into the Artist Way journey, which is basically me being a guinea pig for Julia Cameron's 12-week program to discover or reconnect back to your creativity. This week is all about recovering a sense of possibility, and I'm reading this while my life is rapidly expanding in ways that I never thought was possible. But instead of just feeling purely grateful and happy every single day, I'm also dealing with this weird imposter syndrome and this voice that's like, oh, this will never last, or that I don't deserve all of the good things that are happening. While I was reading this week, I was thinking about another book that I read called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and in it talks about the upper limit theory. Basically, this theory is saying that we have this ceiling limit of how much good we think that we deserve in our lives. And when life gets too good, we unconsciously sabotage ourselves to return to a familiar level of safety and comfort. I feel like I literally am watching this play out in real time because when I get a really exciting opportunity, instead of just being purely grateful and happy, one of my lurking fears in the background is like, okay, well, is this the peak? Like, is this it? Am I gonna just have to go back to my corporate job? The data and the truth of the experience does not lead for that to be like the rational conclusion, but there's somewhere in my brain that limits what I believe is possible for myself. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I love to know the psychology and science behind things, and there really is psychology behind why rapid positive change can feel really destabilizing to us. Our brains are wired to maintain safety, to maintain homeostasis. So even when good change is happening, it kind of triggers our brain's threat detection system. You on a cognitive level can know that it's safe, but your body has not really caught up with the new update that you're making. And it's hard because I know that the skills and the qualities that I've had up until this point in my life, like being careful and planning and minimizing risk and taking those next logical steps, have gotten me to this point in my life now. I'm so grateful for how I have shown up in the first parts of my life because I really think that it did grant me a lot of opportunity to be where I am now. However, how I got to where I am might not be the way that I need to get to where I'm going. Where I'm at right now is having to get a lot more comfortable with uncertainty and with risk, and to really just trust my intuition more instead of just defaulting to like rigid planning and structure that I've had in past parts of my life. Something that has been a common theme across this week's reading is really this idea of scarcity versus abundance mindset. Scarcity thinking is operating that there's never enough, that you have to be fiercely competitive because opportunities are limited, and that you might have one good idea or one big deal and then it will just dry out because that's all there is for you. Sometimes even when our external situations change, it takes a while for our internal programming to catch up. Scarcity thinking can show up in really subtle ways too. There's a part of this book where she talks about how you respond to opportunities or desires that you have. A lot of people, when they hear something that's like a big dream or something that feels so out of reach for them, they're like, oh, no way, that could never happen to me. That will never be me. She has you start to explore what would happen if instead of saying no way, you started to say, oh, maybe that could happen for me. Maybe that would be possible for me. And to see what doors that starts to open up. I'm really good at thinking realistically and practically and logically, and that stifles creativity and the imagination I have because I'm so quick to think like, oh, okay, is that actually realistic, that I don't consider the possibility of what would happen if it was. Instead of me being like, oh, that's not realistic, that would never work, if I start to change my language to be curious and ask, okay, how could that work? How could we make that happen? It starts to overcome this pattern that I'm having where I'm closing doors without even exploring what's behind them first. One of the first challenges from this week was 10 things that you would want to do, but you don't allow yourself. And I think that there's nothing that I don't allow myself to do, but I could be making a bigger deal out of things than it needs to be. I saw this video this morning that was saying, if you are procrastinating doing something or you have fear around doing something, you're making it too big of a deal. I fully felt called out by that. Even a script I'm working on for a video, I've been procrastinating for so long, and I'm like, I'm just making too big a deal out of this. It is not that deep. When I'm able to continually overcome that censor voice inside of me that has such a strong hold on making things perfect or getting things right the first try, I'm able to have so much more freedom with what I'm working on, and I just feel so much less stuck. A lot of the tasks this week talk about visualization and getting clear on what you want, and she talks about making an image file in one of the tasks, which is so funny because she's referencing making a vision board, but I think the terminology just wasn't around when she created it. As someone who makes a lot of vision boards, I really believe in the power of this. I have already created one for this year that I look at all of the time, and a lot of it has already come true. And then also looking at these pictures, there's some things that I don't resonate with as much anymore. So I think it's a good opportunity to refresh. I haven't done one yet. Usually I do one at the beginning of the year and then like at the halfway point. So I'm a little overdue to make a new vision board. I think I want to get a little bit more audacious and bold with what I put on it, because I'm learning as I do this week of the Artist Way that I'm almost scared to dream too big because I don't want to be disappointed if those things don't come true, where that's the whole point of dreaming big, is really expanding your belief of what's possible for you. So I definitely want to make another vision board. And something that also is coming up this week is just honestly a lot of self-doubt, which I think is good to mention just because even when you have a lot of outward success or things are going really well or they look good on paper, it's easy to feel disconnected from it, or that what you are doing is not making impact. I don't know, there's just like this part of me that has a dissonance from the rest of me that knows that I am making an impact. And something that I do is that I always screenshot all of your guys' sweet comments on my videos. And this has been on my list of things that I want to do forever, but I want to go through all of these comments that I have and make them into an affirmation board for myself, so that when I'm feeling this way of like, oh, what I share doesn't matter, or it's not making impact, or and just have like a lot of comparison for my content to other people, then I can go through this and see all of your sweet comments that you leave me of the impact and that it has made on you. I think honestly I'm gonna do this as my artist date this week because it's something that I keep putting off because I'm like, oh, I have other things to do, I shouldn't spend time doing this, but I really feel like it would make an impact on my day-to-day and that it would just bring me joy. So I think I'm gonna do this for my artist date this week. Okay, so I'm just organizing all of the screenshots and it's already making me feel so much better. I need to look at this every single day, honestly, because I can't even believe it. I think once you hit over a certain number of followers, at least for me, it's so hard to conceptualize. Like, I think when I hit 10,000 followers, I was like, oh my God, 10,000 people, that's insane. My brain could kind of conceptualize like 10,000 people cared about my content. And I'm talking about short form, not on YouTube, because I'm still growing this little community, but I'm gonna hit 100,000 followers on Instagram this week. I hit 150,000 followers on TikTok recently. That's hundreds of thousands of people. It doesn't compute in my brain. So what really means the most to me is not those numbers, but these sweet comments, which is why literally every single time one of you has left a sweet comment on my video, I screenshot it and I save it. And now I'm putting it on this collage so I can always look back at it. If you are a person that has left me one of these comments, I just can't express enough how much I love you. Honestly, what I've realized this week is that even though I've come such a long way since I was little and putting myself outside my comfort zone and doing things that feel scary to me, there really is still this part of me and part of my imagination that is locked off, that is scared to open and scared to dream bigger because I am scared to disappoint myself if I don't achieve it. A lot of the prompts this week were hard for me because the questions of, oh, what would you do if you weren't scared to fail? Or what would you do if it wasn't selfish? Or what would you do if all the time and all the money? Sometimes the answers just don't even come to me. So I liked her tactics of writing very quickly and just trying to not even think about it, because I do feel like it kind of overrode that censor blocked off part, and I was able to access some of those deeper desires that I wasn't taking seriously before. I'm also realizing that I really need to trust my gut more and go with my gut feeling rather than needing to logic my way into every decision, and that my gut is strong and I can trust myself, and that I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to make the wrong decision. I'm allowed to prioritize the wrong things. I'm allowed to try something and have it not work out, and not everything I release and not everything I put out into the world is going to be like the best thing ever. It takes a lot of trial and error to find what works. And if we're always stuck in our head and we're so stuck on making it the best perfect version, then we miss the point, and we also miss the opportunity to put out an experimental version of something and just get feedback and iterate on it, and to allow yourself to be seen in the process of becoming who you want to be. I think that's all for this week. Next week talks a lot about abundance and seeing where your limiting beliefs are and seeing where you might be playing it small because of them. This week of recovering a sense of possibility really set the foundation for us to dive deeper next week. So I'm very excited to see what will come up, and whether this is the first time watching the Artist Way series or maybe you've watched all of the videos so far, thank you so much for being here. I can't express enough how grateful I am for you guys to be here with me on the journey. Let me know if you have any feedback on the series too, and if there's things that you want to see more of, if you want to see less of, if you'd rather me just do one video at the end of the week where I'm talking about what came up, or if you like to see the different parts throughout the week. It's really helpful so that I can make these videos as best as possible for you. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you guys so soon.